Hello, chat. I think we should be live. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, Dan, I just wanted people to see my sick little pre-show. I do not stream often, so if there's any technical issues, let me know. I really don't know what to expect. We already have 22 people in here, which is more than I expected already, so thank you all for joining in. I want to start streaming more, especially as we get closer to the Switch 2, because like when the Switch 2 is out, and like we're reacting to all the events and stuff, I'll be streaming more then, and of course, I'll be streaming the games, so I want to start streaming more and get a head start on it, you know, get acquainted with it more before then. We got a lot of people in here. We got Andres Restart, what's up, dude? Nishquick playing Dragon Quest 3. I love to see that. Hell yeah. Dampar, Cole, can't wait to hear Bo talk about games. I mean, that's what I'm here for. The start of daily streams. I mean, this could be like a stepping stone. What if this is the start of me just becoming a full-time streamer? That'd be crazy. Sam talks games. What I'm thinking is, like, behind the scenes, I'm like, okay, can I get it to the point where like I'm streaming and then I'm clipping the you know, topics and then uploading that, editing it up a little bit? That'd be crazy. That's the behind the scenes goal here, but that's probably not going to happen. We'll see how it goes. We got 29 people in here. Wow. If you want to test that invite feature, I'm on standby. Here's the thing, Andres. I'm not using StreamYard. So I'm just going through OBS because unless you can correct me, I was looking at StreamYard. I did like their free trial just to mess around with it. I couldn't figure out a way to use my Elgato through it. And I'm going to want to stream games. Obviously, it's just going to say Elgato pending or whatever, but I do have like a little stream setup here. So I'm not sure if StreamYard is the right thing for me. Although the presentation is very nice, being able to like pull up the titles like you do and the comments. Yeah, records his video as he streams. Yeah, I think that might be the move. Wow, we have 46 people here. That is absolutely crazy. That's more than my Game Award stream. People are thirsty for Switch 2. Messenger VGP re-release. Yeah, that's crazy. I know most people in the chat are probably here for the Switch 2 topics, but Messenger reprint on VGP is hype. I actually might make a video on Etsy about that, because I could not believe that when I saw it. I was like, okay. Jacoby says, Bo, you're the only creator I can trust with discussing leaks. Love your content. Thank you. You're playing a game, you use OBS. See, that's the thing. Like, I feel like there might be times where like I talk about Switch 2 stuff for a little bit and then switch to games or something. So I don't know. StreamYard, you said I think it's $20 a month. We'll see. The presentation is very nice, but we'll see. Rock and roll McDonald's. Yeah, dude. Also, what's up, Rico Lee? Happy birthday. That's crazy. It's your birthday, coincidentally. Yeah, dude. Is there audio? Can you like hear music? I have some like Zelda chill music playing in the background. Hey, what's up, Unpredictable? Welcome to the stream. We got 50 people in here. Switch 2 to be revealed at the New York Times Square New Year's ball drop. Yeah, so I have a couple things I want to talk about today. The first thing I want to get into, I think, is Metroid Prime 4 and how, at the very least, it seems like it could end up being a launch title, which is not what I expected. But I want to get into that. I want to talk about AAA support on Switch 2, because I think there was also some rumblings about that, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting next year, seeing like all the what developers choose to support the Switch 2 in year one. Like, that's going to be very interesting to see. I'm excited to see what that actually looks like. There was a entirely copium Twitter thread I saw about Wind Waker HD. That's why that's in the title, because there was something with that game having a translated Korean title for the first time, which is that's interesting to me. So I wanted to get into that. And then what else did I have on the docket for the night? It's probably going to be a shorter stream just as we're testing stuff out here. I'm also recording this in real time, so like the quality will be preserved, and then maybe we get into that. Oh, I might talk about the C button. I haven't really talked about the C button yet. I don't know what that dang button is for. Alarmo is Nintendo Switch 2. We already have it. That's true. You can see it back there, actually. It's not on. It's not plugged in. I have not used my Alarmo since October. Made a Zelda playlist on Nintendo Music. I mean, yeah, I haven't checked out Nintendo Music in a while. I wish there was a desktop app. If there was a desktop app for that, I would be on it so fast. Me and Sam Talks Games' Portuguese friend freaked out about the Wind Waker Korean thing. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, we'll get into it, but it's probably pure copium. It probably doesn't mean anything, but it is interesting. If Metroid Prime 4 and Xenoblade Chronicles X are launch titles, I'll be very happy, but also pretty amused. That'd be crazy. Alarma review on stream. What's Alarma? Dampar, you know. You know what Alarmo is. Hey, Chrono Rig member for 4 months. Thank you. I have 3 Switch docks. That's basically Switch 4. That's true. That is true. But yeah, I guess let's go and get into the first topic. So let me swap over here to the Chrome view. We have maybe reliable leaker Samus Hunter, maybe complete fraud Samus Hunter, saying something that has people speculating that Metroid Prime 4 might be the launch title. So this is all they tweeted. Samus Hunter said, "Connect, chat, 3D Mario, Mario Kart," and this gif of Miyamoto doing the X, saying it's not happening. People are interpreting this as like it means these games are not launch titles, because she also said here, reminder, it is more important to have a constantly updated lineup each month than to have all of the best games available at day one and then have 2 months with few new releases. Don't worry about those 2 games. So it's got me thinking, like, I've definitely been very adamantly against the idea of Prime 4 when talking about, like, oh, could Prime 4 be a launch title? For years, I've been saying, no, that doesn't make any sense. Metroid Prime is not, that's not launch title material, even though I love Metroid. And I would love to see it maybe propelled to those heights. To me, the idea of Metroid Prime 4 being a launch title just did not make sense, especially when we're completely overdue for Mario Kart and 3D Mario especially. However, the more I think about it, and the more hype keeps building up for this console, I feel like Metroid Prime 4 actually, like, low-key makes a lot of sense because it's going to sell out regardless. And then, like Samus Hunter's saying here, let's just say it's releasing in June. I'm still 50-50 on that. I am still coping for March, quite frankly. But let's say it releases in June and Metroid Prime 4 is a launch title. If Mario Kart is like July and then 3D Mario is in October, I mean, I don't know if it really matters at that point because it's going to sell either way. If anything, this might actually be the best case scenario because that would mean the people buying it on launch day, there will probably be some great third-party stuff there, but also they would not have to buy Metroid Prime 4. I don't think we would see the attach rate that we saw with the Switch. Remember when the Switch came out and Breath of the Wild, there were more copies of Breath of the Wild on the Switch sold than Switch units? No matter what, the console's going to sell out. People are going to buy Metroid Prime 4. And then because the console's marketing will be so intrinsically tied to Mario Kart, 3D Mario, maybe Splatoon or Animal Crossing, whatever else is coming out next year, it kind of doesn't matter. People are going to buy it knowing like, oh, well, Mario Kart's coming out in a few weeks. So from that perspective, Metroid Prime 4 might actually be the perfect launch title. Metroid Prime 4, 3 mil over or under? Definitely over. I mean, isn't Dread at 3? Is it Dread at 3 or 4 million? I feel like Metroid Prime 4, even if it's only a Switch 1 game somehow, like let's say it doesn't come to Switch 2 at this point, I still think Prime 4 outsells it. I think Prime 4 becomes the best-selling Metroid game. Will Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition with a next-gen upgrade be a launch title? That would be tough to push units. See, that's my thing. I still feel like this thing could come out in March. I know we have the rumors from Next Handheld saying like that it's gonna release in March, or that's what they've heard. It's probably not gonna happen in March. That's a very quick turnaround. But if they release it early March or like mid-March, and then you have Xenoblade X, so you have your release in mid-March, you have Metroid Prime 4 with it, you have Xenoblade X literally a week or 2 later with a next-gen patch, or maybe not even a next-gen patch, right? Maybe it is just like advertised like, hey, you can play this on Switch too. That inherently will give that game a boost because when a new console releases, people just get excited, right? Like people are going to be excited to buy whatever first-party stuff is coming out. So if they could release it before Xenoblade X, that'd be great for that game as well. Because there will probably be people that are waiting, right? Like if the Switch 2 is, because it's going to be announced in January. I think we're all in agreement with that. There are going to be people in March who are like, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until the next gen version of Xenoblade X launches in a year or something. So ideally, this thing releases before Xenoblade X. April feels right. Yeah, I think April is probably right. June just feels weird to me. I know that's like the hot rumor between Nate the Hate. I think Samus Hunter's been saying that, but April feels right to me. March feels a little too soon, as much as I want it to happen. Rikuli says, I strongly disagree here. We need something on 3D Mario Kart's hype level to sell Switch 2 for new people. As much as we all want Prime 4 to reach that level, it's just not there yet. But that's what I'm saying, though. It doesn't matter because the Switch 2 is going to sell out from the hardcore fans like us watching the stream. That's going to sell out regardless. And then if you have Mario Kart literally 4 or 5 weeks later, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was back on the Switch, granted that was a port, if you have it set that close to launch, it really doesn't matter what the launch day game is. So they're kind of doing Metroid Prime a big service, making it a launch title in this case. But also, to Dampar's point in chat right now, he says, I could see Prime 4 being a launch title, but not necessarily the launch title. That's the thing. It's not going to be just Metroid Prime 4. It'll probably be Metroid Prime 4 and I want to say Switch Sports 2, but maybe some new IP from EPD4, something along those lines. Metroid Prime 4, this is a complete 180 from what I've said in the past, but like low-key, Metroid Prime 4 being the launch title makes so much sense. If they want to really boost up that game's numbers and get people hyped up for it. Granted, you do have the issue of it, well, it's a Switch 1 game, so people maybe won't feel compelled to buy a Switch 2, but once again, like I'm saying, if Mario Kart's a few weeks later, there's always an inherent FOMO. Nintendo consoles sell out. People will buy it for games coming out a few months down the line, you know? Hey, Sam Talks Games, welcome to the Talks Game supporter role. I forgot what I named the memberships. Also, you said something earlier about promising you didn't steal my name. Yeah, I didn't mean to steal your name with mine. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I've been using Botox Games for, God, probably 8 years at this point. Hey, what's up, Nintendo Mania? I'm doing good. How about you? Also, Upper Nimbus, welcome. A launch date game not being a crowd pleaser like Mario is fine. Just have them be launch year and enough units prime for the holiday season. Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to what the first year lineup looks like. People will say like, oh, well, the Wii U had the advantage of being no one bought a Wii U, so Breath of the Wild was, for all intents and purposes, an exclusive. But I think the Metroid fans are hardcore enough to buy a new console, even if it just means, you know, it's a better version of Metroid. And then, yeah, like I said, I think 2025 might be the best year of Nintendo ever. Especially if the Switch 2 does release in, like, March, because that would mean, 9 months of new games. I think they would have a game every single month, on top of some Switch 1 support, right? I mean, Pokemon, like, let's say Pokemon releases in November. Is that going to be the only game in November, or will they have something else? You know, there's going to be a lot of months where they double dip on releases, I think, which is going to be really exciting. Real J Stone says, I strongly doubt we'll have a new Mario Kart game at 2025 if Nintendo wants to avoid higher demands for the new hardware. Yeah, I mean, I could see Mario Kart being a little bit later, to be honest. Like, I think before any of these rumors started with, what was it, the special edition Mario Kart 9 Switch 2 or whatever, before that all started, I'm pretty, like, set in stone on, like, let's say March to June release for the console. Sometime in the summer, you get either Splatoon 4 or Animal Crossing. You have some other single-player stuff in there. Before, I would have said Astral Chain 2, but after what's happened recently, I would not say Astral Chain 2. Then you have, 3D Mario at the holiday title, like the big holiday thing. You have Pokemon Legends for Switch 1 and Switch 2. Phoebe Zero says, yeah, what about the rumored Breath of the Wild remaster? Maybe you slot that in somewhere. Like, that's already a pretty good lineup. And then what if you have Mario Kart be, like, the year anniversary title? We usually have, like, a big game in March. What if Mario Kart is... Right, yeah, Andres, you said it just now. Mario Kart March 2026. I think that is possible. And I think they would have enough software to get us through. I mean, Nintendo has so many developers right now that we just have no idea what's even happening. Camelot is one. These are like lower tier things, but like we don't know what Camelot's doing. This is the longest they've ever gone without releasing a game. It's very possible that we get a Mario Tennis next year on Switch 2, or maybe a Mario Sports compilation thing. Next level is probably getting pretty close to being done with Luigi's Mansion 4, I would imagine. Mercury Steam. The crazy thing is, if Metroid Prime 4 wasn't in the equation, I would say Metroid 6 is coming out next year, like the next 2D Metroid. I think that's probably pretty close. So I think that'll be a 2026 game. To your point, Andres, 2026 with Ocarina of Time Remake, Gen 10, and Smash. That's going to be a banger year. We're not going to have that 2018 period again where there's just a bunch of droughts with ports, I don't think. The 9 game is 90% Final Fantasy IX. Has been rumored for 4 years now, and it'll release for the 25th anniversary. They've basically been waiting for Switch 2. Yeah, that's what I said in my video. I was like, everybody's freaking out about Mario Kart 9. The reality is Mario Kart 9 is tour. People still don't seem to know that. I do agree that's probably Final Fantasy. I just don't know. I mean, would Final Fantasy get a special edition console? I don't know. Maybe. I was talking to a friend. We were talking about like presentations and how the Game Awards is like low-key this year, one of the best presentations that's ever happened in terms of like banger announcements. The Switch 2 reveal event could be on that level because we can envision a reality where like the Switch 2 presentation has all of the first party stuff we've been dreaming of for the past 2 years. But then also you have stuff like Final Fantasy IX Remake. Maybe Nintendo and Atlas working together, we get a Persona or 6 reveal there. I think it's going to be a crazy year. And to the chat's point, a lot of people are saying it. I don't think Final Fantasy IX is like the 9 game that's being teased on Reddit. Maybe not, but at the very least, Final Fantasy IX Remake is coming out next year. Square Enix's lineup is dead next year. All we know about is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remake. That's it. Going into this year, we do about 7 Rebirth, Dawn Trail, Dragon Quest 3 Remake, Saga Emerald Beyond was announced, and then, of course, throughout the year, Fantasian and Romancing Saga 2 were announced. We literally know nothing for 2025 for Square Enix. I think a lot of that stems from the fact that they're waiting for the Switch 2 to be announced, right? We were supposed to get some sort of Bravely announcement this year, and that didn't happen. At this point, I presume that is because the Switch 2 reveal was maybe delayed, right? Like maybe they thought the Switch 2 reveal was going to happen. Maybe Bravely 3rd or whatever they're working on is a Switch 2 exclusive. So that's probably another game that would come out next year. We got SMT5 at the Switch event, right? Yes. They did that really early CGI trailer showing some of the monsters and demons. So there's a precedent for a major Atlas title being announced at a Nintendo event. Now, granted, SMT5 is much smaller than Persona 6, and Persona has always been acquainted with Sony. However, I mean, recently we saw Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor and Tactica all announced at Xbox last year. I feel like the days of Sony events just having all the major third-party support might be over, honestly. I was surprised 9 Remake wasn't announced this year. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I do think Switch 2 will be positioned as a potential replacement for PS5 for the most part due to the third parties essentially needing to be there. Yeah, I think a lot of that Japanese third-party support, you start seeing it really show up in Nintendo showcases. I mean, it really depends on how powerful this thing actually is and what developers can do with it. But considering most Japanese games are still coming to PS4, I mean, like we'll talk about it in a bit, but like Elden Ring Night Rain, that's coming to PS4. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza, that's coming to PS4. These games are gonna come to Switch 2. Xbox almost killed Metaphor marketing. I hope Atlas sticks to Nintendo in the future. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Metaphor, it's still sold over 1 million, right? But I think Atlas should at the very least stick to Sony or Nintendo. Xbox not the place to be marketing your JRPGs. But also, Metaphor wasn't even on Game Pass, so I think Xbox is probably done trying with the Japanese games again. Because they didn't really have anything this year, did they? Because when they announced Persona 3 Reload and 5 Tactica and Metaphor, they even had Infinite Wealth in that same presentation. So they better not release Persona 6 next year. I played so much Atlas this year, I need a break. Yeah, I need a break from JRPGs, man. I've played too many RPGs this year. Here's the thing in Mario Kart 9's favor, the leaked wheel thingy. What's going to be there at launch to take advantage of it, if not Mario Kart 9? I mean, I think a lot of these accessory leaks we're seeing are just like generic Chinese, like cheap manufacturing that people are just making to cash in. So I don't know if that necessarily means there has to be a game that supports it. I mean, we'll probably have some sort of racing game at launch, even if it's something random like Need for Speed or something. I don't know. Not that would use gyro. Can you imagine EA putting like Joy-Con gyro controls in a Need for Speed game. I think 7 Remake / Rebirth had to be possible in Switch 2 because if it cannot play a 2020 third-party game, how could it possibly run a 2030 third-party game? I mean, it's very possible that in 6 years we get to the point again where third-party stuff is really skipping Nintendo again. That is possible. But, I mean, diminishing returns and all that, I don't know. I mean, Rebirth already kind of has some choppy resolution on the PS5, base PS5. I'm sure they can make it work, and I'm sure they will make it work. Another game that I think will probably be a pretty major one for the Switch 2 reveal event is Dragon Quest 12. I think the reason we haven't seen Dragon Quest 12 is because they're waiting to show it with the Switch 2. Because that game was announced, what, 3.5 years ago at this point? Like, it was a while ago. You have to remember that Mario Kart 8 will be back in patch, so it'll probably be for stuff like that. That's true. Yeah, I mean, there's already going to be a huge library of games that would use that wheel. But the thing is, like, who's using the Joy-Con wheel? How many people bought the dang Joy-Con wheel? Probably not very many, to be completely honest. David Cassie RPGs guy, watch him from time to time. He predicts a summer or fall Persona 6 reveal and 2026 release. I want Raito and DDS remasters first. Yeah, that was what's surprising to me about Game Awards. They didn't. Atlas didn't have anything, but Sega was there. Like, Sega showed up at the Game Awards with Sonic and both RGG games. So the fact that Atlas wasn't there, especially when we have the rumors of the Raito remakes, and also wasn't there like Phantom X needs to get a console port still, as well as wasn't there a rumor for a Persona 5 party game? Like, I think the rumor from Midori was that Persona 6 was next year, but I kind of find that hard to believe, given how much we still need to get, right? So I feel like, I don't know. I think we're still a bit away. I think Persona 6 will be announced next year. Don't get it twisted. I just don't know if it'll release next year. New scoop for a Boa video. Fitness Boxing 1 is no longer available in the Switch eShop. I think that's been like that for a while. That got delisted like years ago. Yeah, from quote-unquote Midori. Ryan from the Bronx. Do you think Prime 4 will have online multiplayer? That's one of those things that makes sense, but probably not. But weren't Retro hiring like a bunch of like actual like multiplayer designers? Wasn't that a thing? I haven't kept too much up with like the hirings at Retro, but I feel like there was something suggesting that it would have some sort of multiplayer. Think we get a new 3D Mario for Switch 2? Oh yeah, that's definitely year one. I mean, we're getting 3D Mario year one. The question is it a launch title or is it like 3 or 4 months after? You know? Especially with, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom just came out in 2023. That next actual new 3D Zelda is probably, what, 2028 at that point? So, you'll get your 3D Mario in between. You'll get your Ocarina of Time remake in between. Can Metroid Prime 4 multiplayer be like GoldenEye but with modern controls and beam upgrades? That'd be cool. I just don't know, like, we're kind of past the era of like just multiplayer that's in there for the sake of having multiplayer, right? Like everything has to be a live service. And I don't know if they want to have Retro be doing some live service nonsense. Even if it's not like battle passes and stuff. I mean, Splatoon has constant updates. Will Retro be doing constant updates for Prime 4? I just don't know. And if they don't, it's almost like, what's the point? The way online games just come and go nowadays, it's like, I hope it has multiplayer. I want to see Nintendo do like a first-person shooter multiplayer, but I just don't know. All right, let's see. Chad, I want to ask you a question. How are you feeling about all the Switch 2 leaks in general? Because I've been pretty outspoken in my videos. I'm like, I'm tired of this nonsense. But then every couple days, like something else comes up, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is interesting. But specifically with the accessory leaks, like, it's cool, and they're giving us a great look at the console from these, you know, 3D renders and everything. But also, the renders are the accessories, like, they're not official, right? So it's just kind of like, every day I go on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, and then it's just a new accessory, and I'm like, okay, cool, another accessory. I mean, it's December 18th, frankly. So like, we don't have long to wait, right? Like we're what, a month away probably or so. If it is earlier in the year, I made a video a couple days ago talking about that. In fact, I think I actually have it up here. Let me see. Yeah, there were a couple things suggesting an early, like early January reveal. I think it was Chris String hearing some chatter about it. It was, I think, Next Handheld had said January 10th or 11th. Then Samus Hunter corroborated that. But here's the thing with Samus Hunter. I'm starting to get, like, I don't know. They were really right there. And, like, I'm not saying they've been wrong about anything since their current, like, good streak. But I don't know. I just feel like some of the things they've been saying, it's like, not sure if I want to fully believe in Samus Hunter. They're interesting to look into, but all in all, I don't know how blown away I'll be once the real thing is out. I just need to see games. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's hard for me to make videos about the games when we haven't seen the hardware. So I've just been waiting to see the hardware because I want to talk about the games. I don't really give a damn about the hardware, frankly. I mean, it's cool, you know, C button. I'm curious what the C button does, but like, I just want to see the games. I'm here to play games. I think my least favorite type of Switch 2 video to make is stuff about the hardware, to be completely honest. I love predicting, like, reveal. I love doing, like, reveal predictions and all that, but, and, like, rumors regarding it. But the actual hardware itself, it's just like, I mean, it's going to be a better Switch. You know? Just got to smile and act like I know what they're talking about when they mention processor specs and stuff. I have a rough understanding. It just needs to run the games is pretty much where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, I just need to see those dang games. And like I was saying earlier, I think whatever reveal event this thing has is probably going to be the best Nintendo showcase ever, honestly. I mean, it was a kind of a sloppy showing, like the way it was presented, but the January 2017 presentation had so many great announcements. We haven't really had anything quite to that tier in terms of just, you know, how many there were, right? I mean, we've had some great directs. I mean, even this year and this June direct this year, the June direct last year. I think it's the February 2019 direct that had Astro Chain and Mario Maker and Link's Awakening. Like, we've had some very good Switch era directs, but the 2017 presentation is still probably their best showcase ever in terms of just raw announcements. And I think the Switch 2 presentation is gonna, you know, be better than that, which is hype. And we're not too far away from that. Joy-Con ice cubes is forever stuck in my memories. Yeah. Koizumi, right? Just shaking the Joy-Con. Need to go back and watch the January 2017 presentation. That might actually be a fun stream. Just rewatching the entire thing. Like when we get closer to the Switch 2 reveal. And the days leading up. The thing, like, dude, once it's announced, and once we, like, know when it's getting revealed for sure, my brain is not going to be able to turn off. I mean, when there's, like, nothing going on, when it's just a bunch of accessory leaks, my brain already can't turn off. When we actually know with certainty, like, when it's happening, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself, to be honest. I haven't been making Switch 2 videos as long as a lot of other people, because I'm sure you all know. I've been, like, on the 2025 train forever. But even still, all of 2024, I was expecting a reveal in, like, September, October, and then we didn't get that. And it broke me. You know, I'm just like, oh my God, where is it? I need to see this thing. Let's get past this. Flopping down on the couch with your Joy-Cons in hand. Oh yeah, Koizumi, like, laying back on the couch. That was funny. Do you actually think Elden Ring Night Rain will come to Switch 2? Yeah, I guess we can start talking more about third-party support in general. I mean, we kind of have been. But the way I see it, if a game is on PS4, why would it not come to Switch 2? Frankly, Night Rain's interesting, and so is the next Call of Duty, because Night Rain is like, it's not a DLC, but it's like a weird asset flip multiplayer thing. So I feel like they should get Elden Ring, like the base game and Shadow of the Erdtree on there first. I think you need to get Elden Ring base on there first, and then you can do Night Rain. So maybe Elden Ring's a launch title, and then Night Rain, we don't know when that's coming out. I would assume August, September. They just said 2025. And if the Switch 2 releases in like March to June, maybe you have Elden Ring at launch and then Night Rain a few months later. I think they said Night Rain's also only $40. So that's not too bad. But yeah, I think Night Rain will be there. I think Yakuza is interesting because, like, do they just start doing the new ones, or do they, like, wait until they catch up? I mean, I could see Pirate Yakuza being there pretty early. The thing is, especially if it's true that the Switch 2 was delayed from 2024 to 2025, which I still don't really believe. I'm still being stubborn about that. I feel like there's probably a lot of ports that are basically done, especially from those more prolific Japanese developers. Like Pirate Yakuza might be done. Nishwick Pop saying a lot of Bamco games, like Tales of Arise and Sparking Zero. Yeah, totally. Sparking Zero is another one. I mean, there's no way Sparking Zero is not coming to Switch 2. There's no way. Tales of Arise, yeah, you can probably get like a complete edition. Wasn't there a rumor it was going to come to Switch? Like base Switch? Dynasty Warriors Origin is another one. I mean, especially when we're talking about Japanese developers, I don't think there's any reality where most of these games don't come over. I think maybe some of the higher end stuff maybe takes a little bit longer, right? Like maybe Metaphor takes a little bit longer than we would want or something. Maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake takes a little bit longer, and 16. Maybe these things take a little bit longer, but that like it's not, I guess it would be more like AA tier, like Dynasty Warriors Origins and like Virtua Fighter and all the Yakuza games. Like those are going to be there pretty early, I think. And I'll be curious to see what the launch lineup actually looks like beyond just the first party stuff, because I mean, you don't want to go too hard, right? You probably just want to have a couple things at launch. If Elden Ring's one of those things, like if Elden Ring's there, like would CD Projekt Red want to release Cyberpunk the same day? Probably not. You got to space these things out a little bit. Like one a week. You could have one AAA third party port a week. Doom Dark Ages. Yeah, Xbox is, I think Xbox is going to be there in a big way. I think there was, I think it was Necrolipe, who, like, just kind of posted, like, an emoji regarding Fable coming to Switch 2. I think Switch 2 will probably get every Xbox game, basically, especially because the Series S exists, so all those games have to run on Series S anyway. So, I mean, 2025, we're talking Doom Dark Ages. I mean, there's a precedent. Doom 2016 and Eternal came to Switch, so Doom Dark Ages, I don't know if it'd be at launch, but you probably get a late port. Outer Worlds 2, the first game is on Switch. We probably get Outer Worlds 2. If we get Outer Worlds 2, you can imagine Avowed coming over. Sea of Thieves came to PlayStation. Hi-Fi Rush, well, Hi-Fi Rush isn't really theirs anymore, but Sea of Thieves came to PlayStation. You probably get Sea of Thieves on Switch 2 pretty early, actually. That might even be like a launch title. I think Sea of Thieves is something they would want early. Elden Ring with Link Amiibo support. Yeah, that'd be fun. Bring back the Solaire amiibo. I'm still salty I never got that. They printed that thing like once, and then it was just impossible to find. I think it was a GameStop exclusive amiibo. Shadow of the Colossus on Switch 2. Sony's... Okay, like, here's the thing. Xbox, we know Xbox is going to be there, pretty much. Like, Xbox is third party now. Sony, I think we see a lot of Sony stuff, too. Granted, Lego Horizon Adventures bombed, but it bombed on every platform. We're getting Freedom Wars on Switch in January, which is a Sony game. They're not publishing it, Bandai Namco is. But I think we could see Sony start experimenting more and more. If they aren't noticing like PC taking away from their console sales, maybe they experiment and see, well, would a Switch 2 version of these games really hurt? Especially if they release 5 years later. Like, they would never be day and date, certainly. But like, what if we got Gravity Rush 1 and 2? And then what if we got Last of Us? Or like Uncharted would probably do pretty well. Even like Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't think we ever get like Spider-Man or God of War, maybe. I don't know. I feel like Sony... I think Sony probably shows up eventually. Maybe not year one. But there's a chance of Gravity Days 1 and 2. Yeah, I think... Oh, yeah, I did say it. I think Gravity Rush could happen, especially, I mean, since they're... Like, Freedom Wars is happening. It's not done by Sony, but... I don't know, man. I could... That would be a smart thing to do, especially because there is a Gravity Rush 2 movie happening. Or, I say Gravity Rush. It was a Gravity Rush movie. That's happening. So, maybe you want to get maybe you want to get those games on PS5. I think there was a rumor of Gravity Rush 2 on PS5, like a remaster, because they're remastering every PS4 game. Maybe at the same time you bring them both to Switch 2. Will Switch 2 get Concord? Probably. Honestly, probably. That's the revival plan for Concord. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII remakes, I mean, those, I could like see those taking longer than we hope, but I think they will come eventually. It's weird. I mean, is there some sort of console exclusivity deal still in place with Sony? They still haven't come to Xbox, which I do think is weird, even though, like, would it really matter if they came to Xbox? It probably wouldn't. The fact that they haven't is odd, in my opinion. Concord Remastered, yeah. I expect the launch lineup is Elden Ring, Doom, Fable, Mario Kart, Fire Emblem, Death Stranding, Metroid Prime 4, and Animal Crossing. That's a crazy launch lineup. Mario Kart, Metroid, and Animal Crossing all on day one. Oh, and Fire Emblem. Can't forget that. They'll want to space those things out a little bit more, I think, than just, you know, doing it all at once. But I do think, I mean, going back to like the launch lineup discussion, if Metroid Prime 4 is launch, I think you get Mario Kart maybe a month later. You probably have something akin to like ARMS or something in the summer. Maybe that's just Splatoon. You have Fire Emblem 4 Remake, which will be a Switch 1 title, but will, you know, be advertised for Switch 2. You have 3D Mario and Pokemon in the holiday. I mean, 2025 is going to be incredible. Also, what's up, Slime? Welcome to the stream. I don't live stream, but I want to start more, I think. I didn't think there'd be... I mean, there's 73 people in here. That's crazy. Chat, can we get a like on the stream? We have 35 likes and 75 people viewing. Let's get some likes in here. Like, I genuinely thought I was going to go live and, like, 10 people would show up. And I'd be grateful for those 10 people. But the fact that there's 73 people here, that's crazy to me. We finally get legs. We might. It might be time for legs to finally reveal itself. 2025 is going to be a crazy year for gaming. And that's the thing, right? Without even talking about the Nintendo stuff, 2025 is already shaping up to be an incredible year for gaming. I mean, off the top of my head, there's a lot of like niche stuff that I care about. Like, we're getting Tales of Graces F and Dynasty Warriors and Freedom Wars. So we're getting a lot of stuff like that, which frankly isn't like that big for a lot of people. But then in February, you have like Avowed, Assassin's Creed, Yakuza, Monster Hunter Wilds. Into March, you have Split Fiction, the new game from the It Takes Two devs. You have Atelier, you have Xenoblade X, obviously. I think there's some other Japanese like smaller games in March. I think after that, we don't have that many dates, but like I think Capcom probably has something next year. Maybe that's Resident Evil 9. Square Enix has Dragon Quest 1 and 2, as well as presumably Final Fantasy 9 and at least one or two more things, unless they canceled everything. You have GTA 6. I haven't even mentioned GTA 6. That's going to be one of the biggest games of all time. Xbox low-key has a crazy lineup next year with Doom, Fable, South of Midnight, Outer Worlds 2. I think I already said that. I'm forgetting one of them. I mean, Call of Duty. That's every year. Xbox has a lot of games next year. 2025 is, I think, all of that third-party stuff on top of Nintendo. Assuming GTA 6 doesn't get delayed, we're probably looking at the best year of all time. I'm not trying to be facetious here. I think 2025, I think there's a good chance it's the best year of gaming ever. Like, in terms of like games released and high quality games released, I mean, we're going to be entering a year where, I'm sorry, Andres, I got to say it, there's a real chance that stuff like Monster Hunter Wilds and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Doom the Dark Ages, there's a chance those games won't even get nominated for Game of the Year because of how good next year is going to be, right? That's crazy. All three of those games should be shooing for Game of the Year nominations. But I don't even know if they're a given anymore. We have a new Elden Ring game releasing next year. Every video game is coming out. That new Ninja Gaiden game. Ghost of Yote. Death Stranding 2. What is happening? There's too many games. It is absolutely crazy. And that's, I mean, even without GTA 6 releasing, that is still an incredible year. And that's without us knowing what Nintendo has. 3D Mario, Mario Kart, Splatoon, Fire Emblem. We're getting a Pokemon game next year. The next Legends game. Legends Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game of the past decade and a half. I mean, guys, that's insane. I don't know how I'm gonna manage my time, to be honest. Like I have Dynasty Warriors Origins pre-ordered, and like that's January's pretty slow overall, but then like the moment February hits, there's just something. It's constantly. Oh yeah, Lost Soul Aside. That got a new trailer today. I had not heard anybody talk about that game ever, except for my friend Tucker, who's a PlayStation first party sicko. I think you're the first person I've ever seen mention that game, other than him. GTA 6 is going to be GOTY next year. Yeah, I mean, yes. If GTA 6 actually does make 2025, it's absolutely game of the year. Although, am I crazy? Did God of War win in 2018? Versus Red Dead? Yeah, God of War did win in 2018. Is it possible that something releases that is reviewed better than GTA 6? Probably not. Horizon multiplayer. Wolverine probably further off, but there was the rumored Venom game. Yeah, God of War did win 2018. So, I mean, a Rockstar game has lost Game of the Year. Now, having not played either of those games, but watching a lot of them, the fact that Red Dead didn't win, that's a sneak. God of War winning Game of the Year is a sneak. Come on, let's be clear here. Based on what I've seen. Could always have a surprise like Balatro. I mean, another game that we haven't talked about that in any like more tame year would probably be a shoo-in for Game of the Year nomination is Hollow Knight Silksong. I feel like that. I think that game's vaporware at this point. Odyssey would have won if Breath of the Wild wasn't the most innovative game in years. Yeah, I mean, I think 2017. What were the nominees? Was Nier even nominated? I don't think it was, which is crazy. Persona 5 was nominated. Indiana Jones nominee. Yeah, Indy will be eligible next year because it came out in December. Get hyped. Red Dead is a better game, but God of War had the out of nowhere factor. Yeah. No, I think like God of War looked really good when they announced it, but I don't think anybody was expecting it to be like a 95 or whatever it is on Metacritic. Red Dead, it was like, oh, well, it's Rockstar. They make the best games. The best open world games. Oh, yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn in 20... That's a sneak. I'm trying to see. Okay, what were the nominees? Okay, Game of the Year nominees. Oh, my... Are you kidding me? Here are the hold on. These are the nominees for Game of the Year in 2017. I guess this is before they started doing 6. They had Mario Odyssey. PUBG was nominated for Game of the Year. Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Breath of the Wild. Listen, I get it. PUBG was a moment. That was a big deal. But that is goofy. Especially in a year that had Nier Automata. Like, come on. Also, wasn't there... I feel like there was another Sony game that year that should have been nominated. Wasn't I? Maybe I'm mistaken. That is wild. Was Fortnite nominated in 2018? Okay, Fortnite wasn't nominated in 2018, but Celeste was. Like that is it doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Also, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's funny. Oh, I can't see my monitor's like blocking my arrows. Overwatch 1 in 2016. I mean, I loved Overwatch when it came out, so I think that like actually deserved it. Although Uncharted 4 and Inside and Doom are all better games. So, maybe not. Overwatch 2016 was very good. It's easy to look at Overwatch now and just be like, oh, what is this? Who likes Overwatch? But back then, Overwatch kind of deserved it, to be honest. But yeah, 2017 nominees. I mean, if Breath of the Wild didn't release, I think this would have been Odyssey pretty easily. Although, man, imagine Zero Dawn winning. You know, back when it was new, that wouldn't have been impossible. But Sam is gonna slay all of these fools, dude. I don't know. I just feel like there are no guarantees for Game of the Year nominee next year, unless aside from GTA. Oh yeah, Resident Evil 7 was 2017. Resident Evil 7 is a masterpiece. I love that game. Love Resident Evil 7. Metroid's best chances with action adventure. I mean, it's hard. I'm trying to even think, like, what does that category even mean, man? You know, like, oh yeah, Neo was 2017. Prey, Cuphead. Man, 2017 is an all-timer. Uncharted Lost Legacy. Oh, I guess Final Fantasy 15 was a holdover. I doubt Mario would have won. Yeah, and there's also like a weird subset of people that don't like Odyssey. Hey, thanks for joining in, Nishquick. It's fun chatting. Yeah, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. I don't trust that game. I don't know why, but I don't trust that game. That game looks too good, like, to believe. The art style, the gameplay, the UI, the music, the voice cast, like, I don't trust it. I think it's like a $40 game also, or maybe 50. I think they said it's like a 15-hour game. It sounds like the perfect video game. It cannot be true. I refuse to believe that game's going to be that good. But that's also 2025. Still have to try Cuphead. Cuphead's hard. That game's really hard. I think I played it... When did I play that game? I must have played it when it came to PlayStation, I think. Action adventure just means it's not a JRPG or tabletop puzzle game. Yeah, I mean, the categories are weird because, like, any game that you go on an adventure... You go on an adventure in every game, and there's usually action. You know? Like, Wolfenstein... Here are the nominees for Best Action Game from 2017. It's Wolfenstein 2, an FPS, Cuphead, a 2D platformer, Destiny 2, another FPS, Neo, a Souls game, and Prey, an immersive sim. None of those games are similar, except for Wolfenstein and Destiny 2, and even then, those are completely different. Like, why isn't Resident Evil 7 in Best Action Game? I would say Resident Evil 7's in an action game. That's weird. I would say out of all of these, the one that most accurately fits this description is Neo. Zelda's the perfect description of what action adventure is. Yeah, I would agree. But then you see, you'll see that in like an RPG for some reason. It's like, okay, well, sure, I guess. Astrobot won this year, a platformer. So yeah, Mario would... Okay, so yeah, that's a great point. Why isn't Odyssey nominated? The categories are weird. Also, wow, remember Best Handheld Game? The 3DS dying is what killed this category, because now we just have Best Mobile Game. But it really... See, people were making jokes this year about how the Best Family Game category is just a Nintendo category, which it usually is, even though Astrobot won. The Best Handheld Game category, I mean, look at this. Samus Returns, Ever Oasis, Echoes, Monster Hunter Stories, and Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. That's crazy. Odyssey and Uncharted being in the same category is crazy. Yeah, that's like... Huh? Also, like, Assassin's Creed Origins is an RPG, I would say. If we're going by, like, their definition of, like Final Fantasy 16 is an RPG, then Assassin's Creed Origins must be. I think of action, I think of games like DMC or Bayonetta. Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong to say that Wolfenstein's an action game. There is action in the game. But, like, to nominate it in the category just feels weird. It's the same thing with, like, RPGs being like, I mean, it's a role-playing game. What games do you not play a role, you know? Like, genres are weird. ARM's best fighting game. Oh, dude, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, dude. Wow, Nidhogg 2. That's an interesting pick for for best fighting game. I like Nidhogg, but that's an interesting one. I need to move my monitor. FPS / third-person shooter should have their own category. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I think this year Black Ops 6 was nominated for Best Action Game. And I'm like, I mean, yes, that's technically true. Sure. But, I don't know. Let me look at this. Let's go to the action category. Okay, so action game. I'm going to be honest. I didn't realize these were two different categories. Why are these two different categories? I would say this actually, aside from Call of Duty being here, and I guess Helldivers, this is pretty accurate. You have Wukong, which is obviously an action game, and Stellar Blade, and Space Marine, but Space Marine is a third-person shooter. Yeah, I don't know. And then Astrobot, Echoes of Wisdom, Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, and Star Wars Outlaws in the same category as Lost Crown? Huh? What? Why are these in the same category? And why isn't Wukong considered this? The game based on Journey to the West isn't an adventure game? What do you mean? Exactly. Game Awards has no platformer category. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I guess you can really get into, like, indie games, but there's not, like, that many high-profile platformers every year, you know? In fact, normally there's none. We need a, yeah, Caleb, we need a DLC category. Listen, I'm all for giving Shadow of the Erdtree its due, right? But there should be a DLC category. Because then you have best ongoing game, which is like, huh? But then you also have best community support. Like, in my opinion, best ongoing game, I mean, this is basically DLC category, but it's really just live service category, which means it's only going to be first-person shooters and Diablo. Like, it's weird. I guess you can still have this, but if you have a best RPG or a best DLC category, there is enough major DLC every year now that there's no fear of them not being enough. Because, I mean, just looking at this, if they had best DLC this year, like, why isn't Elden Ring in this? Why is Elden Ring not in the best ongoing game category? That's odd, right? Elden Ring's a multiplayer game. You can play that game multiplayer if that's like a requirement. Final Shape would have been like nominated for DLC. Vessel of Hatred, Dawn Trail. And then best ongoing game. Instead of putting No Man's Sky in best community support, you can put No Man's Sky in best ongoing game because they actually update it. Splatoon and Mario Kart were ongoing games and didn't get nominated. Yeah, did Mario Kart ever get a nomination during the Booster Course Pass? Probably not. Should there be a remaster category? Probably. I mean, I'm fine with like Silent Hill 2 or the Resident Evil remakes being nominated for GOTY. Like that's especially when you get to like 7 Remake, which is just a new game. But when you have smaller stuff, I feel like why not have a category just to like give Persona 3 Reload its, you know, give it its fair shake. Even though it's not going to win when you have something like Silent Hill 2. Like, why not? You know? There's enough remasters and remakes. If they did remake category this year, what would it have been? I mean, you would have Thousand Year Door in there, probably. Persona 3 Reload. Silent Hill 2 would have won, of course. I'm sure I'm missing like major remasters that came out and remakes, but I don't know, man. They need to redo their categories. I wasn't planning on going on such like a TGA tangent this stream. But I guess that's the joy of streaming. We can just do whatever we want. Before we end off, I do want to talk about something that popped up over on Twitter. Someone noticed this. Let me find it. It's a very copium-filled thread. But we have some potential evidence that Wind Waker is actually happening, or maybe already happened. Now, the rumor for a very long time has been that this game is done, and they're sitting on it. Same with Twilight Princess. Similar to how we were talking about Metroid Prime Remastered for so long. It seems like something happened that maybe actually suggests the game was translated into Korean for the very first time, and if not for a new version, why would they do that? Now, just to preface it, I think this is all purely a coincidence, right? Like, I don't think this actually means that Wind Waker is happening for sure, but it is very interesting. So this user on Twitter, Pixel08, noticed this. He says, I will sound extremely delusional, but I genuinely think a Wind Waker port for Switch exists because of an unexpected place, Nintendo of Korea. And this is like crazy. He says, first, in important context, Wind Waker never had an official Korean translation. Although it was released in South Korea, even though they had translated the manual and the packaging, the game itself was in English, including the logo. That's important. The name of the game was in English. It was only from 2006 when Nintendo established a subsidiary in Korea that they finally decided to translate Zelda games in Korean, and this has been true since Phantom Hourglass, except Spirit Tracks for some reason. But here you can see it actually has like a Korean title, right? The logo's Korean, whereas Wind Waker was not, right? There was no Korean title for Wind Waker. The Wii U was never released in Korea, so they once again missed out on a version of Wind Waker. Obviously at that point, it would have been there, but the Wii U just didn't release there. Since the release of Switch, however, any Zelda games have been consistently translated officially in Korea, including Hyrule Warriors, which was originally a Wii U game. So even a Wii U game did end up getting the Korean title. Why is this relevant? Because of Nintendo of Korea's own website showing a timeline of all Zelda games, but crucially, games that had a Korean translation used their Korean names, and those who didn't used English, with one major exception, Wind Waker. For some reason on this website, I think this link might be down, yeah, so the web archive link isn't working, but on this website, Wind Waker had a Korean title finally. After, 2 decades of not having a Korean title? That's a little weird, right? Why does it finally have a Korean title? And what's even crazier is they corrected it. They put it back up just as Wind Waker. Why'd they do that? Nintendo, excuse me? This kind of feels like an oversight. They say here, this isn't a one-off either, as this panel from an official Zelda fan event of Echoes of Wisdom shows the same mistake. Yeah, you can see Wind Waker down there below my little face cam has the Korean title. This could suggest two things. They did start translating in Korean Wind Waker for Wii U, but it was never released. Or there is, in fact, a Nintendo Switch port of Wind Waker because they've been consistently translating games in Korean, and this accidentally slipped through. Or this is all a massive stretch. I've completely lost it, and this was all a simple mistake from Nintendo. But this is weird. Like, I didn't want to do a full video on this because, like, it's probably nothing. It is such a little thing. It's the fact that they went back and changed it. That's weird. Why'd they change it? If it was just like, okay, moving forward, they have a Korean title for it, sure. But since it was never released in Korea with with a Korean title, it would make sense to keep calling it the English thing because that's what they would know it as, the Wind Waker. So for them to translate it and then fix it, why was it ever translated? Granted, this is just like a website, so like they might have literally just translated it on the fly. Whoever was making this website, they might have just put it in there in Korean, but this is weird, man. I mean, it's kind of like non-news to begin with because Wind Waker is going to happen eventually, and we will eventually get Wind Waker released over there. Andres, what is the Gamefly thing? I'm not familiar with the GameFly thing. I gotta look this up. Was it just like a listing?
Welcome back to the.
Okay, I need to watch this Mike Odyssey video to learn more. I don't even know if he's talking about it in this. Oh, no sources in his description. Dang, that's rough. I'm trying to find this GameFly thing. It's a short one. I mean, I don't like to buy too much into just like listings popping up on retailers. That is weird though. And there were some other like rumblings of it not too long ago. Specifically, I mean, this was definitely a stretch, but like the whole Puro banner thing being like a wavy thing. They were selling merch of Wind Waker. Very interesting. I mean, if they want to have something early, the thing is, like, I've said this before. First of all, they're not going to release them in a double pack. I think Twilight Princess will just get a remake 10 years down the line. But if they position this as a Switch 2 thing, that would actually make a lot of sense as having your year one Zelda title, because, and maybe it releases on Switch 1 also, sure, but Zelda games, I don't know. I feel like we're at a point with diminishing returns when it comes to selling Zelda games on Switch. You know, Skyward Sword did better than the Wii version, but I think even that probably didn't do as well as they wanted. So I think having Wind Waker maybe be more positioned as a Switch 2 thing, you have that new gen hype inherently. Maybe that's the play with Wind Waker. Even if it does come to Switch 1, release it after and be like, hey, Wind Waker, first Zelda game on Switch 2, right? 4K Wind Waker. I don't know. Wind Waker amiibo listing. Oh, was it just like a reprint of the, what was it, 35th anniversary amiibo? They did like that 2-pack with Toon Zelda. I love how realistic you are with your predictions. Thank you. I try to keep it real. But then also when there's stuff like this, I have to stretch and cope, you know? I love the crackpot theories. I was talking to somebody the other day. I don't know if you remember this, Andres. There was that whole like amiibo reprint theory with like Diddy Kong getting a reprint last November, and I think you and a couple other people were making videos like, "Oh, this means the Switch 2 is being announced in November of 2023." That was funny. I love stuff like that. I love just absolutely like just absolute craziness. The listing showed a Wind Waker Switch series or something. Just the amiibo, but it has a placeholder Switch box art. Interesting. Hey, Redbeard and Sausage, thank you for the super chat. Wind Waker on Switch 2 hype. Love your content. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely weird. You don't remember that, Andres? Oh, no. Yeah, that was a big one. People are going crazy about that. To me, Ocarina of Time remake feels more exciting than a re-release of Wind Waker for Switch 2. Oh, absolutely. That is absolutely a more exciting thing. But I think Ocarina remake is probably further off. I think that might... I don't know. I want to do a video on the Zelda movie, especially now that Craven's out. Of course, produced by the same producer. Not... The thing with the Zelda movie and like all of his movies having really bad Rotten Tomato scores, the producer's not as important as the director. And I think it's what, Wes Ball doing the Zelda movie, and he just did Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and that movie's great. So I'm not that worried about the Zelda movie, but I kind of want to do a video about that. But I wonder if you save Ocarina for closer to that, but also that movie's probably still like 2 or 3 years away, you know? What if we get Wind Waker next year? Then you see Breath of the Wild 4K remaster a year later. I know that would be hilarious, but unironically, Wind Waker year 1, Breath of the Wild, and that'll be on Switch 1, but also have like a 4K Switch 2 version or something. And then you get Breath of the Wild 4K Switch 2 exclusive, and then maybe 2027, Zelda movie comes out and Ocarina remake. And then by 2028 or 2029, you could see a new 3D Zelda. And also maybe a new 2D thing from Grezzo. They like to have their one Zelda a year. Someone in chat mentioned the Zelda quota. That is definitely true. So I think this makes sense. Wind Waker next year, Breath of the Wild the year after. Maybe there's a year gap in there somewhere. Ocarina, and then new game. But also, if you told me Ocarina of Time remake was coming like next year, and like some team we've never heard of is doing it, I'd believe you. You know. So Andres, do you think we're getting Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild next year? I just feel like that's a mistake because I think you'll get a lot of people double dipping on Breath of the Wild. But also, Wind Waker HD, yes, it will be on Switch 1, will probably mostly be selling to Switch 2 users who are just hyped up to have a new console. Even with the 150 million Switches out there. I mean, once again, Skyward Sword did what? 3.5, maybe 4 million? Which is great. It's more than the Wii version, but it's not like... It's not incredible, you know? Does Wind Waker HD do more than Skyward Sword HD? If it released back in 2021, probably. Wind Waker is a much better game. But I don't know if it'll really move the needle for Switch 1 users next year. It'll be there for sure, just because why not? But I don't know. When do you think Switch 2 game content could start leaking? Images, etc., or will Nintendo make it all the way there to the reveal without significant leakage? You know, if you remember back in 2017, the night of the Switch 2 presentation, or the Switch 1 presentation, that night, someone who was setting up at the Nintendo New York event actually ended up leaking a lot of what was there, including Mario Odyssey, Milk. That was what made me know it was real. The game Milk was like leaked. We didn't know it was 1-2 Switch, but they had like a Milk demo set up. I think I remember seeing Kojima play that or something. That all leaked like the night before, or a couple hours before the Switch 2017 January presentation. I think we could probably see a leak like that happen. But otherwise, I think we're probably pretty safe from like software leaks. Third-party stuff, that's hit or miss. We could certainly have more third-party games leak. But you could probably... I think for first-party stuff, we'll get there. We'll get there without any major leaks. Unless you're counting like Samus Hunter saying, like, oh, Metroid Prime. That doesn't count for anything, really. I don't see only Wind Waker HD and only Breath of the Wild 4K in 2026. That would be terrible. Maybe have a Hyrule Warriors in there to mix it up a little bit. You get Wind Waker HD, Hyrule Warriors 2, or 3, I guess, and then Breath of the Wild 4K. That could happen. That way you have a new Zelda game, even though it's a spinoff that no one is really clamoring for. It really depends on who's even doing Ocarina, right? Is it being done internally? Is Monolith Salt helping? Is Grezzo doing it? I don't think Grezzo would do it. I just don't know. What's the best leak we got this generation? Well, it's not technically first party, but Mario plus Rabbids is definitely the most like conclusive leak, I would say. Right? I mean, that was crazy. We knew about Mario Rabbids like a year before. We knew about Mario Rabbids before the Switch was even announced. or like, I think it was like right after we started hearing rumors about it. Would physical games be in production yet? I honestly don't know how soon they start that. I'm not sure. Probably not. But I think that's something that you see start happening like late January, February, if it is like May or June, right? So I do think it's going to get announced in January. Early January, late January, who the hell knows? I hope it's earlier in the month. I don't want to wait until the end of the month. We have some recent things in rumbling suggesting an early January reveal, and if they do want to get ahead of even more leaks happening, it would be very beneficial to them to do it. But also, like I was saying in a video the other day, does it even matter at this point? Like, it leaked. They know what it looks like. It's too late, you know? We don't have any concrete details on games. We don't know what the C button does, but we know what the console looks like. We know the specs. We have a pretty good idea of the release window. I'm not sure if moving it up would really even help them that much at this point, you know? I'll be sad if it's the last day of February for an announcement. Last day of March, maybe. They said March 31st. I think it'll be in January, before their investor meeting, which is February 5th. I strongly think early Jan and mid-March release. Part of it is cope, but another part of me feels like it makes sense. I'm right there with you, man. Listen, is it cope? Probably. Is that an extremely fast turnaround for a console? Yes. But actually, the thing, people always say like, oh, well, that's not enough time to market 3D Mario. That's not enough time to market Mario Kart. If Metroid Prime is a launch title, that kind of isn't an issue. We've seen Metroid Prime 4. That game was announced a year ago. Or, well, that game was announced 8 years ago, or whatever. And we saw it 6 months ago. So, even though they haven't done heavy marketing with that, Metroid Prime launch title in March, Xenoblade X a few weeks later, you get Mario Kart or something in April. That'd be hype. And everything is a fast turnaround. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's easy to feel like the world hasn't changed since the Switch was announced and released, but, bro, TikTok didn't exist. Social media was nowhere near what it is now. YouTube wasn't even what it is now. Streaming wasn't what it is now. Like, I think they could get away with announcing a console in January and releasing it 5-6 weeks later, to be honest. Especially since, from all the rumors, it sounds like, I mean, they're sitting on retail units, like in the retail boxes at a warehouse somewhere. If that is all to be believed. I love getting paid to play my Switch at work. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. What if Nintendo was like, quote, this is for Arakawa. Sorry, we actually meant the best next hardware announcement was by the end of the next fiscal year. More info to come in March 2026. Please keep enjoying Nintendo. Dude, I would do it all. I think I would stop. I think I would stop making Nintendo videos. I would become an Xbox YouTuber. Sony gave us 2 weeks before the PS5 Pro. I think it was a little bit more than that. Because that was in mid-September. That came out in November. So that's actually a similar time frame than what we're talking about. Right? The pre-orders went up really quick. End of the channel scenario right there. Dude, I can't do it. I cannot do another year of this mess, man. But hey, I mean, even if the Switch 2... Let's say the Switch 2 didn't release next year. Like, let's say that happened. That'd be crazy. We would still have Metroid and Pokemon and Xenoblade, Donkey Kong, like Fire Emblem maybe. I'd be definitely putting more time into PS5 next year than Switch, which is what happened this year, you know? Even though, I mean, Nintendo had a pretty consistent like 1 game month cadence this year. Like I was saying in my wrap-up video on the other channel, every game they released this year was like 8 hours long. Up until Echoes of Wisdom and Brothership. True Copium's hoping for a Sega Saturn scenario. I don't even know if I want that. That'd be rough. Oh, the panic, the thrill of like running to GameStop. I remember when I was working retail when the PS5 was announced. Or it was the second stream, I think it was in September, where they announced God of War Ragnarok. So the second event. I literally just left work. And I was like, I'm going to GameStop right now. I'm pre-ordering this. I don't care. My boss was just like, okay, well, you better have your hours. The moment like I even hear a whisper of like the Switch 2 is being announced at this point, I'm going to GameStop. I'm getting in line. I'm not playing around with this pre-order business, man. I'm getting my pre-order in. Especially if there's like a special edition. I'm still salty I never got the Master Edition for Breath of the Wild. I waited in line for like 5 hours for the Switch in 2016. Or in 2017. When I was 16. I will be... Yeah, I was salty about not getting the Master Edition. I also didn't get a Pro Controller. For some reason, those were like hard to find at launch. But the moment there's a whisper of something happening, I'm at that GameStop. Maybe I'll do a little vlog. Yeah, but Bo Cope streams of no Switch 2 next year. If Valve enters the console market, it will be great for competition. Yeah, I mean, they've tried like their Steam machines before, and I think there's rumors they're going to try another one, I think. That'd be interesting. I just don't know like how well that would do, especially when Xbox... That would certainly kill Xbox. You know? Xbox would have no place in the market if Valve had a box you put next to your TV. Especially if they release something that can maybe run Windows on like dev mode or something, and then you can get Game Pass on it. Oh my goodness. Collecting channel 2025, the 500,000 subs in wake of the Switch 2 12-month delay. See, I'm glad I made that channel. I'm very genuinely glad I made it to Amiibo when I did, because being able to build it before the Switch 2 happens has been nice, right? So I'm getting prepped before the Switch 2. You know, I'm excited for the growth for both channels when the Switch 2 releases, but quite frankly, I'm more excited for its Amiibo. I feel like me doing like pre-order guide videos and like unboxing, I don't know. I feel like its Amiibo is going to grow a lot next year. I'm excited for that. This channel also, but it's Amiibo. Sleeper channel. Also, I get to talk about niche JRPGs there. So, it's fun. It's going to be, I'm just excited to not talk about Switch 2 rumors every day. The thing is, like, I still will probably, right? Because there's going to be game rumors at that point. But I'm just excited to not be talking about the dang hardware. I just want to be talking about the games. You know, one of the big things I covered, one of the first big things on this channel that helped grow the channel was Scarlet and Violet. Legends EA, dude, oh my god. I'm going so hard on Legends EA next year. Metroid Prime 4, we'll see. I probably leave that to you, Andres. Mostly. I still need to play Prime Switch 1 stuff to look forward to. Kirby thing, maybe? 3D Mario is going to be a lot of fun to cover. Mario Kart, I'm really excited. I've never been able to cover a new Mario Kart. I was making videos. No, I started my YouTube channel after Mario Kart 8 came out on Wii U. And then, I covered the Booster Course Pass, but I'm really excited for like a new Mario Kart on YouTube. That's going to be a lot of fun to cover. Splatoon 4, Animal Crossing. Like, I mean, dude. Oh, the reset point. We're finally at the reset point where we get all the major IP that we really care about. Also, I forget who it was. Someone asked earlier when I think the next Pikmin game will be. I don't know why I just thought of this, but there was a rumor about a Pikmin spinoff next year, I think, from Nash Weedle, which is like, do you want to believe that? Who knows? But I could see that. I think Pikmin's one of the big four now, the big five. It's the big five now. It's Animal Crossing, it's Mario, it's Zelda, it's Splatoon, and now Pikmin is one of those. Even though it's not selling to that level, it's clear Nintendo wants to position it like that. So I think Pikmin. I think we could see something in Pikmin next year. Honestly, 100 concurrents. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. I really wasn't expecting that for my first stream. I was not expecting that at all. Oh, it just dropped. It went from 106 to 80. What just happened? Regardless, if you're joining into the stream just now, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. Did you already do a 2025 prediction video? That'll happen on January 1st. And I'll look back at my 2024 predictions. Is your audio messing up or is it me? Ooh, we having stream issues? It says excellent connection on my end. Do I sound okay, chat? Audio is clipping. We don't like that. Then I have someone saying audio is fine. Stuttered for a bit. Probably just like a weird lag spike. But yeah, Caleb, I'll do the 2025 predictions video on January 1st. It's gonna be really awkward looking back at my 2024 predictions, because I was saying like, oh, there's gonna be a new Switch Mini model, there's gonna be a price cut, the Switch 2 is gonna be announced in September, October. How wrong I was. I think I even said like Mario Tennis. I think even though like I've stayed consistent in thinking it'll release in 2025, I was still very wrong about a lot of what I said for this year. That's okay though. It's all fun and good. Not as awkward as Arlo's looking back. Oh yeah, Arlo, like his entire prediction video was predicated on Switch 2 releasing in like March of this year. Yeah, I just expected something else. I mean, I guess like the new 2DS XL came out after the Switch. The Wii Mini came out after the Wii U. So I mean, maybe we still get that next year. I don't know though. What's crazy is I'm 26 and the next Mario Kart will only be the third all new one I'll get on launch. That's how long it's been. I mean, yeah, it's been 10 years. 11 years. That's insane. The first one I got on launch was Mario Kart 7. Mario Kart Wii I got probably like that holiday maybe. But 7 was the first one I got, and then 8, and then 8 Deluxe. So really only two new games. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, that's another thing too. Like we haven't seen the next gen leap from Nintendo in over a decade. And I mean, they've been able to do some incredible stuff on the Switch. I think Monolith Soft especially, they needed, you know, applause to them. But even Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey. I mean, the thing is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best looking Nintendo games. That's a 10-year-old game. It's going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild seeing the graphical leap. Double Dash was my first. Yeah, Double Dash was the first one I played. I loved Double Dash growing up. But I don't have a memory of getting that game. Mario Kart 8 is the first one I remember like getting. Mario Kart Double Dash, I think maybe my brother just had when I became sentient, you know, playing that. 64 I didn't really play until later. DS is one I just never really played, to be honest. Like I've gone back and tried out the mission mode for that game, but you know. 2025 will continue to be bad for Western AAA gaming. Not with Doom the Dark Ages and GTA 6 coming out. You know? It's a hot take to say Mario Kart 8 is beautiful. That's crazy. Mario Kart 8 is an incredible looking game. And it runs great. I don't know, man. Like, if you actually, like, compare it to, like, Luigi's Mansion 3, is it better looking than that game? Probably not. But the fact that it came out in 2014, and we're about to finally get a new generational leap Mario Kart, I honestly, like, I don't even know what to expect when it comes to, like, how good Switch 2 games are going to look. Because with the Wii U, it took Nintendo a while to get, like, set up. I mean, look at New Super Mario Bros. U. That game looks so... It looks like, I don't know. It looks just like a Wii game upscale. Like, it does. They didn't really do anything special with that game. But over the past 10 years, as they've really learned to work within the constraints of a specific hardware, applying that to the Switch 2, I mean, some of these games are going to look incredible. I can't imagine the next Monolith Soft game, the next Zelda game. I remember the first time I saw Rift Apart, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart in the PS5 showcase. And I was like, dude, imagine Nintendo games looking like this. Imagine Nintendo with hardware like this. That's going to be wild. I can't wait. That's why I wanted to stream that. I was like, I just want to talk about Switch 2 with you guys. Because I'm like, end of the year, you know, we're finally closing off the disastrous year that was 2024. Also, I think you guys can still hear me. My camera just turned off. I think it like overheated maybe. Let me see if I can turn this back on. I'm still here, trust me. Although we do need to end the stream soon anyway. Let's see if this turns it back on. Maybe. Oh, you're seeing the Zelda lo-fi feed. There you go. That was weird. Let me touch it. Yeah, my camera just overheats if I'm on for a long time. Which I guess will be an issue if I'm streaming a lot, but yeah, it's good to test all this stuff out now. That's why I want to start streaming more as we're closing off the stream here. I just want to like get acquainted with it. This stream, I had way more people watching than I expected, to be completely honest. So thank you for joining in and watching with me and talking to me about Switch. Get a fan. That might be a good... Well, it probably doesn't help. I literally have the heat on and there's a vent. There's a vent right underneath where my feet are, and then that goes up. So that probably did not help the camera. But yeah, this is fun. I definitely want to stream more. I think... Here's the thing. Now that I know I can get 50 of you in here, at least to talk about Switch 2, I want to try just streaming random stuff, like random games. I play a lot of games. Why not just stream it, talk with chat, chill out, you know? Maybe the VODs will be kind of, you know, maybe they'll be privated after, I don't know, but like, I can just start streaming stuff, man. I play a lot of games. You know, I was thinking about playing like Okami. I think Okami would be a fun one. Like first time playing Okami. I've never played Okami. That'd be really cool to stream that maybe. But also, that's also a very long game, so maybe not. But then moving into Switch 2, obviously all the reveal events. When the Switch 2 is like coming out, we're probably gonna be streaming daily. Honestly, like that's probably gonna be happening. You're honestly one of the best Nintendo YouTubers out there, so I'm excited to see you stream more. Thank you. I appreciate it. You'd be getting footage for your videos at the same time. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like working these things out. Where like I just want to figure it out because I'm also recording all of this, so I have like the high quality video as well. And like I was saying at the top of the stream, depending on what's discussed, maybe I can really like double dip. Some of this stuff gets clipped. I edit it up like I do with my regular videos, upload it separately for people that don't watch the stream. We will see. But this could become a pretty normal thing. But I'm going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next time, maybe there'll be some more production value or something. I don't know. Maybe not. I need to get an end screen. I don't have an end screen, so I'm just going to like cut out here in a few seconds. But thanks for watching. Thanks to Chris Gamer and everybody else who joined, the members. I think Chris Gamer, you already were one, maybe. But thank you. Also, yes, Pixel Pigman. I will definitely be streaming the reveal. Absolutely. That's the thing. I normally do stream like reveal events. Like I streamed the Game Awards last week, but we'll make it a more normal thing. But